Hello and welcome back to the CFCTALK podcast. For a second, I forgot our name. But tonight's an interesting episode against Villarreal. Chelsea won on penalties. I think 7-6 it was on penalties. Chelsea winning. Another cup. Tuchel, 5 matches he's played in the last 3 months, and he's won 2 trophies already. Now it's the Premier League that's coming up this weekend as well. So a lot to talk about here, as well as the Lukaku news, which was announced on Thursday afternoon. Finally, the saga is over. Now we can move on and maybe target someone else. But as always, joined by Alex and Amart. Amart, I know there's a reason behind you wore that hat. So would you like to go first and then talk about how you feel after that Super Cup win?
Yeah, I was just picking a hat to wear today, and I saw this one. I felt like it would be a fitting hat for the episode. So yeah, we are champions, and we've won the Super Cup finally. I'm just so happy that we've won the Super Cup again. It's been a long time since we won it, and yeah, that's why I picked it. So champions of Europe. I don't know how to even call this. Are we champions
Super
of Europe
champions
for the second time, or champions of Europe? Super champions, yeah, super champions of Europe, exactly. Yeah, I should have printed like super next to this.
We've got that we can call our team at the moment champions, Super Cup champions. Hopefully in the next 9 months, Premier League champions again. I'm trying to speak into the existence, but let's dive right into it. Firstly, I want to talk about Kepa. The amount he's going from podcast on Twitter, on social media. Alex, heroics from him coming on. Even the first touch he had of a ball in penalties.
Literally, I know, right? Literally, his first touch in the whole game was the save to save the second penalty, which is crazy. Yeah, it's just I was confident, to be honest, though, because he's there. Yeah, I mean, I think there was that meme. I don't know if you sent it or if someone. It was like the Drake one of coming off for a penalty shootout and then coming on for a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kepa's like he's better than Mendy. I don't think I would have really wanted. Mendy doesn't really save penalties. It's not his strength at all. It's probably one of his only weaknesses that he doesn't really have a great record at all saving penalties even before Chelsea. And Kepa does. So it made so much sense to bring him on. But at the same time, could have used the sub, I guess, as well in extra time. They saved that one extra sub for the whole extra time to get Kepa on, and which was a shame as well because it meant Havertz played 120 minutes. So yeah, he's probably not going to start against Palace. I'd be really surprised if he is. But yeah, Kepa, amazing, great redemption for him, to redeem himself more, to be fair, because ever since Tuchel's come in, every time he's gotten a chance, he's been fantastic. So yeah, really, really happy for the guy. He deserves it. He deserves to win Chelsea a trophy in a penalty shootout. So yeah, couldn't be happier for the guy. And
yeah,
did not like
No, I'm just going to interrupt him. They continue discussion. I'll be back in a second.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm just saying that Kepa. Should we wait for him or we should continue?
It's all right. Let's go. Let's keep going. It's all right. It's fine. Yeah, he just didn't like my Kepa comments.
Yeah, I'm saying that
didn't.
Yeah, I mean Kepa really he really made a lot of people happy yesterday, and he really proved a lot of people wrong. I mean, we Chelsea fans, we know that Kepa is very good with penalties. He's helped us in penalties in the past before. Even the famous one where he didn't come off when Sarri made him asked him to come off. Even in that game, he even did well in the penalty shootout. I think there was just he misread Aguero's penalty in the end, and Aguero scored. But he could have still helped us in that penalty shootout. So, and he's very good in it. So I don't know. I think it was a very, very good decision from Tuchel to bring him on later on. But like you said, I would have preferred if he had made substitutions that would get us another goal instead of us going into the penalties. It's not really the best to depend on or to trust penalties and think you can win or something. It's not really the best, but he gambled and he broke
Yeah,
Kepa on,
it worked.
and it worked. So I mean that's why he's paid a lot. We can't
Yeah,
do those
exactly
kind of
right.
decisions,
Like
so
we
we'll
scored.
be on the safer side. But he's
Yeah. Sorry.
can you see me?
Amart's gone into a shot.
Oh, no,
Amart's
we
gone.
can see you.
Oh, he's
Oh, okay. We'll be right back. But yeah, just to add on to what he said, like he's totally right, and the fact that we scored all of our penalties except for the first one, who was Havertz. So yeah, fantastic management all around, fantastic selection of players to take penalties and to save them. So yeah, it's just great to
I
see this
won't
young
lie,
group win another trophy. Go on.
when Kai Havertz missed that penalty, I kind of scared out. Is this going where we don't want
Bit
it to go?
nervous. Yeah, because like
And I want to say I was like because every time we would switch back to the team in the studio, I think I was watching BT as well. They would be like, "Oh, it's a preseason." I said, but on the pitch, it didn't seem like a preseason game
no
to win it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You can. It's a preseason game, but it's at the end of the day, it's a trophy that both players won, and if you do win that trophy, it gives you access to another tournament, which gives you another club, of course. It's high time Chelsea won those two trophies, and it's to see it. And that coming from someone who was to throw shade on Kepa, I sat at the game and I said I'm more happy for right now than for Chelsea. He wanted to redeem himself for the longest time. He's been trying hard. You can tell he just even the situation kind of struggled, but it was amazing him come make that save. And the back of my mind, I was also like, if it goes wrong, we could 5 penalties, save all, but he won to get for it because of just how our fan acts with kind of situation. So happy to see him get that. Track back at the early parts of the game. He started off so saying we had about 80% possession for 20.
Yeah.
Goal, as well. What a goal that was! Kai Havertz, Timo Werner, and the together.
Yeah, it was a really great goal. I mean, in our first half, full stop, we played fantastically. I thought we just kind of we'll get into it later, but Hakim Ziyech is just. I felt so. It was when he got his injury. It's just like, oh no, not again. He did the same thing at the start of last season, and then it wasn't the same guy for pretty much the rest of the season. So yeah, it was it was a fantastic showing from him. Timo, it's like off the ball, he's just godly. He's just amazing with the runs he makes. But then on the ball, he just yeah. Like when you think about when Lukaku comes in, who's making way between Mount, Havertz, or Ziyech, or Ziyech is just going to be out for a bit now. But unless the only way I see it is him coming in for Werner, because Werner's runs are great, and I like what he does off the ball is so good for Chelsea, but on the ball, frustrating. I think I didn't really see much of him, but to be fair, I didn't really see much from Kai Havertz yesterday either, and I'll back him to the end of the world, but I can happily sit down and say he didn't really do much. So yeah, first half just amazing, and then we lose Ziyech, we sub off Kante, and that control just kind of slips away. So yeah, the rest of that 90 minutes was not very fun, to say the least.
You said something about Kante there, and I just want to reiterate the guy is magician. Like he knows what he's doing when he's doing what he's just everywhere. That brilliant tackle to take the ball away. I can't exactly remember what time it was, but probably in the game when I had that chance to score. But incredible from Kante. Amart, your a few tweets from you yesterday, which were your second half and how we played incredible in the first half. So on the first half. And
Yeah, I mean, the first half was amazing. The first half, we took full control of the game. We were in full control of the game. Like everything was going on well according to plan. It seemed like everything was going on well according to plan. And then we scored the goal, beautifully taken cross from by Havertz. I think that was an issue I was having with Alonso the whole night. Like he wasn't taking early crosses. Like he was rather adding way more touches to the ball before he crossed, and eventually he ended up not making the right cross. But Havertz's cross was perfect, like just one touch, pump, like very, very beautiful. And Ziyech was there to score. But immediately Ziyech got injured. And I hate to say this, but yesterday wasn't Pulisic's best night. Like when Pulisic came in, you could see the massive difference between what Ziyech was given on the pitch and what Pulisic brought in. I don't know whether he wasn't expecting to come on that early, but I don't know. It just he wasn't on it yesterday. He wasn't on it
Yeah.
yesterday all up to the end. But so I was happy when he scored his penalty, because if he hadn't scored his penalty, then that night would have been a disastrous one for him. But he scored,
Yeah.
and that was good. But the second half was just okay. We are talking the first half, so let's finish the first half. The first half was good, and it was a shame. I agree, Alex, that it was a shame that Ziyech um went off injured. For some reason, I don't know. I, it did feel a little bit like last season's own, but I was kind of happy happy that wasn't his any part of his lower body, like his leg or his thighs or his ankle or anything, but it was a dislocated shoulder, which could heal probably quicker than the injury that he had last season. So even though he'll be out, he'll be in soon, and it wouldn't be a major blow to his career at Chelsea. So he can still carry on when that happens, when that heals. So I'm happy. I'm happy it wasn't anything serious, too serious, but we'll still miss him when he's out.
yeah, as both of you said, it just seems like the repeat of last season where Ziyech is injured, and we just hope that it's not the same case as it was last season where he came after injury and it was just the same. And I know a lot of the times commentators and those on the panel at BT and Sky and everyone just kind of said how he looks like he's scared to get another injury. So again, it's a very the most positive way to look at it is at least it's a part of his body which is not as important as maybe what it was last season. And yeah, wishing him a speedy recovery. Hopefully he'll be back for those important games that we've got against Liverpool, Aston Villa. I think he might be missing the Arsenal one as well. It seems like at least.
Yeah. Like you don't recover from a dislocated shoulder in a week or two, I don't think.
Yeah.
I
So
think
it's
that
probably
what I was hearing is if it's just a dislocated shoulder, because we didn't receive any news from Chelsea today, it could take up to 3 weeks, and if it's actually ligaments, it could take up to a month to a month and a half. So, well, we'll have to wait and see whether we get Ziyech before the international break or not. That's going to be the big question, as well. But yeah, sorry, go for it.
Sorry, yeah, it's just a case of it how this kind of more extends into the second half as well as long term. Like how it just seems like we kind of when Pulisic came on, he missed a couple of chances, made a few wrong decisions, and the kind of the idea starts to creep in that we miss, like when Ziyech isn't on, we're not that creative, which is kind of crazy because when Mount came on, he made things happen. So maybe it's not really something to be worried about yet. But yeah, Havertz didn't really create anything, and we didn't really have any creativity at all from when Ziyech came off until Mount came on. So yeah, it's just I don't really want to rely on Pulisic for the next 3 weeks when we're playing Liverpool, Arsenal, playing some really big games. So yeah, and we win our difficult games, and you never know, a league push might be on. So yeah, it's just thankfully with Lukaku coming in, he'll definitely start. Mount will definitely start, and then it's just we can rotate between Havertz, Werner, Pulisic, while Ziyech is out. So it's not the worst thing in the world, is it? But it's just a shame because Ziyech has done so well.
The funny thing about the whole I'm just saying that the funny or the ironic thing about it was when the game started, I was my sister is also a Chelsea fan, so I usually watch games with her. Anytime I'm watching, she comes and we watch. And I was telling her that I'm so happy this season we don't have any injuries, and then that thing came. So I feel like I'm the one who I'm the one who jinxed it, and he got that injury, and yeah, no more jinxing
Yeah,
from me
no,
anymore.
I hopefully it's just a dislocated shoulder. 3 weeks out, he'll hopefully be back. So, with hopefully before the international break, and we can utilize him in the important games that we've got against Man City, Tottenham as well. So, I should just say Man City. I mean Tottenham, it should be fine. But yeah, moving on. I love taking digs. One day it's going to bite back. We're talking about a few poor performances. I know there's a lot of like members on this team we could praise a lot after yesterday's game. Kepa, Chalobah. I'd go as far as to say Rudiger played pretty fair well as well. And then there's a few that we would rather not talk about. I mean Kovacic. There's no excuse to really say that he hasn't had preseason time. He played both the Arsenal game as well. I think Pulisic came on in both the games, so but he still had quite a lot of time. At least he's had one full like a 90 minutes of playtime before this game started. So both of them really not fitting into this team. And since the addition of Lukaku, as Alex said, it's going to be tough for him to come back into this team. I think it's the clear front three that I'm seeing right now is Kai Havertz, Mason Mount, and Lukaku, and breaking into that for Werner and Pulisic both is going to be very hard. But Kovacic and Pulisic, what's the situation there, especially with Kovacic?
Well, Kova, we got to worry. Like he's not competing with those guys, man. So it's like But you are right though. Like I think he's not been a disaster class for all of preseason. He's had one or two. I think one of the Arsenal Spurs games he played
from
really,
like a 10. Let's say if you had to rate him from like a 10 to Bakayoko, what are we giving him?
Oh. No, we love Bakayoko secretly. I'll give him a 6.5 because even in this, there's something we have to really talk about in like they did in the game. So you guys watching 119th minute, Villarreal get the ball on their penalty box. They spray it out to some guy on the wing, and Kovacic comes sprinting. Yeah, Kovacic comes sprinting down from the middle of the pitch down to him, literally, and makes a last ditch 119th minute sprinting slide tackle. So I'm happy to overlook the whole of his bad performance yesterday, because if he didn't do that, we probably would have conceded because there was no one left on that side. So yeah, to do that was ridiculous. But you're right, still though, he's had a couple of decent games, but it's basically just a Jorginho rotation, to be honest. It was a bit frustrating to see him come off. Sorry, to see Kante come off for him instead of Jorginho. No, wait, I'm getting my words mixed up. Yeah. Oh, I would have just gone Jorginho, Kante, or taken off. I can't remember. I'm getting so confused now.
No, I think he started. Kante came off. Yeah, Kante came off for Jorginho.
Oh yeah, for Jorginho, and okay, that makes sense now, because what we were all saying was Kovacic should have come off. Yes, Kovacic. To be fair, I would have said
Kante and Kovacic started the game. They started the game, and then Kante went off for Jorginho. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think
it gets confusing because you've got Kante, Kovacic, and all start with a K, so it's all got a K in there.
It was a weird decision when Kante came off. It was very, very weird. Like it doesn't like.
I thought it was just Tuchel trying and say
You're muted, Mohammed.
Oh, okay. I was just saying that I hope that was just him trying to save him up for the Crystal Palace game.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But Amart, Pulisic, you were saying something there that I kind of interrupted. So that's Amart Sock. That's Sock.
I have nothing to say. If I speak, I'm in trouble.
Yeah. But Pulisic, I mean,
Pulisic's got dirt on Amart, and if Amart speaks, he's done. He's done, never to be seen again. Just like that, just like this, he's done forever. Oh man, we'll be back with
no,
him
I think
so
it was
soon, I'm sure.
it wasn't the best of his performances, and it just feels
yeah.
like when a restart Pulisic, it's like it's never gonna, you know, this chance if he needs, he really needs to sort of games pretty well. You know, if you have one or two bad performances every 5 or 6, you can at times because you have other players to cover you, but you can't just come onto the team, be a second type of player every time, and you know, not be as impactful as others. And that's been the case with Pulisic. I mean, yes, he hasn't started a single game, I think, even before this, but he's had his time. I think he's had full 90 minutes between the two games against Tottenham and Arsenal. So two pretty good teams, I would say, in terms of what they put out on the field. Amart, your thoughts on Pulisic, if he's going to be a red starter or not? And we'll stop cutting to Amart. Seems like he's still in a state of shock. Alex, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, to be honest, I'm a little bit mugged that Cho is like Hudson-Odoi. I'd rather take Hudson-Odoi left wing or in any of those three spots than Pulisic right now, because Pulisic just doesn't seem to be at it right now. I'm really not sure what it is, but then again, it just kind of stems from ever since his purple patch in lockdown, the first lockdown, he's not really kicked on. We haven't seen any of that since. So right now for me he's at the bottom of the pecking order for those front three spots, and Hudson-Odoi should be getting more chances than he is. And it's really frustrating to see Hudson. That's another thing as well. It's frustrating to see Hudson-Odoi at right wing back. But like, if Tuchel's going to pick him there, I guess I can complain, but it's like you just kind of got to accept it. He sees him there as a back at right wing back. But once James is like fully up to speed, Hudson-Odoi should be getting those chances at the front three much more than Pulisic. Because Pulisic's just. I'm a little bit with putting like. I'll give him the chance, and if he can get a full season under his belt with no injuries, that really would probably be really good for him. But we just haven't seen any of that purple patch Pulisic. I don't want to compare him to Willian, but it's starting to go down that route in terms of like we saw the purple patch, and now it's like not really there. So yeah. But I'm not saying Pulisic out or anything. Just kind of he until he can prove himself off the bench. That's where he should be, and should get more performance.
I completely agree. It all just boils down to the same point we've been making the weeks of got so many ones that we have right to kind of complete and right wing, left wing options. We wouldn't be sitting here discussing. But in terms of when we had Willian, he was kind of our option. We didn't really, set in well with Hudson-Odoi playing in that position or anyone else, in fact. So having Willian and Pedro at time was like, the only play with regularly. So we were going to have to, the choice of whether it was a good performance. But now that we have, going to have to go and look and giving him enough chances, and now it's someone else's turn. And then if that doesn't, yes, go back. But it all boils down to whether he's going to be able to even play Premier League games now, or he's going to be kept away in those like cup games to kind of bring up his confidence as well. So, I mean, about that, one academy player was really impressed all of us, and I feel like at this point we should just named after him, Chalobah. We all want him. A lot of Chelsea fans on board. They were saying, let's loan him out. But now suddenly everyone's gone, you know what? Forget Koundé. We don't need Koundé. We've got him. And even yesterday, I will say, a bit shaky in the first half. But then second half, he made those tackles. He had a great performance, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally agreed. Yeah. I want him to stay as well. Like, he was completely brilliant yesterday, considering it's his first proper. I mean, yes, he started for Chelsea in friendlies, but this was kind of his first. I mean, it depends if you count the Super Cup as a friendly or not. But yeah, it was his.
See, I would
biggest, it was
say
definitely
there's
yeah.
I see like interruption. But there's sure in this than like let's say the first 10 Premier League games, and it is a trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah,
And it as much as people like to say it's a friendly, it's a charity cup or whatever people want to call it, it is still a cup. And as a player, that's what that you want medals. Every single
it's
medal
a
you can
UEFA competition. So yeah. So yeah, like it definitely counts, and so it was definitely the biggest game of his Chelsea career, and he did fantastically in it. So yeah, to be honest, I still think Koundé is going to happen. I don't really agree with it, but it's like we don't really need this. I mean, if he was a specialist right centre back in a back three, I would totally get it. I'd be like, yeah, fine, sure, 22 years old, as P replacement, totally up for that. But he's played in a back four mostly for Sevilla, so yeah, I just I'm not sold on it, and yeah, Chalobah has clearly shown that he can play well at this level. So yeah, if it was up to me, I would just not go for Koundé whatsoever. Focus on getting a midfielder in Tchouaméni. Prices seems like it's not going to happen this summer, but I would just spend some money on Tchouaméni instead and keep Trevor. Sorry, there's that meme sorry, I was just thinking back. There was this meme on Twitter going around of like Tuchel selecting his Premier League squad, and it's just this guy. Someone walks past his van, and someone in the van says, "Trevor, get in," and yeah. So yeah, but what a guy though. No one would have thought that he would be forcing his way into the team the way he is right now, and yeah. Full props to him, and I really hope he gets to stay.
I'm going to quote something from what I think he said on Alex Goldberg's pod a few years back, and he said, I want to be his first team, and I want to play for the Chelsea team regularly. That's my dream. So it just goes to show that it's not just him working hard it's been the last few years, actually, to be in a position like this. And I really do realizes that, and he really gives him the I will trusting him to still, him in a Super Cup game is still I would do. He could have easily and kept him in other games, maybe something else. But it's nice to play, and I'm very excited to hopefully see at least play the games and then make it slow to the Premier League as well. But the main thing I want to talk about, and I think saw how close knitted this Chelsea group is. Oh, yesterday, indeed, the way he wasn't even the fact that he got off right before penalty. But those kind of the you live for, you're just based off those kind of moments, all those sort of things. And then the way as soon as as soon as Kai Havertz missed the penalty, just kind of surrounded him and helped him out before they let him go, and said then eventually in the way Kepa kind of behaved with Villarreal players, do it out, and the way he collected giving it to the players and him out before he was taken. I will say though, Rudiger penalty was sketchy. I saw Rudiger's run up and I was like, if this missed, I'm turning off the
TV. Yeah, I was not confident on that one either. It was really sus. Like literally looked like he was running straight up to the ball. But yeah, he's clearly practiced it. He just kind of curved his run up. That was all good. It was nice to see Asby to score with his trademark run up of just plants the ball down, marches away from the ball, and then just sprints up to it and scored. So yeah, it was just nice to see all of the guys score except for Havertz. So it was unfortunate. It wasn't a great pen from him, but yeah, brilliant to see all the other guys score, and especially Jorginho.
That penalty was cool. Amazing. That penalty was amazing. The celebration of that, it was just like, wow.
Don't expect anything less from him. He just, yeah.
4 European trophies in the span of 3 months.
Yeah, he's won on average in his past 9 games. He's won an average of a trophy every 3 games.
That's incredible.
Yeah, for Ballon
And
d'Or,
that doesn't. Messi who?
Messi who? Messi plays for PSG now. You can't win the Ballon d'Or at PSG. Just can't. Doesn't happen. Not allowed. So yeah, now that Messi's out the way, it's definitely coming home. It's definitely coming to Jorginho now. Now, I think he's got a chance. I don't like. It's the same kind of chance that Modric had in 2018. No one really thought he would win it, but he did. So fingers crossed. Jorginho has bought a lot of votes, hopefully, and yeah.
I've always had an issue with the Ballon d'Or and these kind of awards because they favor attacker a lot more than any other position. And I know this is probably something that's very common and everyone gets. It should be an award which is fairly judged for each position. Maybe do like a Ballon d'Or for each position because it kind of makes it unfair. You know, you've got someone like Messi whose job is to score 30 plus 40 plus goals a season. And he'll get appreciated for that. But someone like Jorginho will not get appreciated because he doesn't score 30 goals a season. But what he does is he plays a low, he defends. Chelsea's highest goal scorer. No, but his main job is to just be in midfield and defend and help as much as he can from the back line and move the ball up and help out Kovacic and Kante. So if he's doing that, that's basically his job, and he should get awarded for that. So I feel like it's a bit unfairly judged. And I'm not just saying it in terms of I think a few years back, Manuel Neuer was in the race. Buffon as well. Sometime in the last 5-6 years, I remember he was once nominated as well in the top 3. But I clearly remember Manuel Neuer because I feel like that was one of his greatest seasons. He won the World Cup with Germany. He league as well and other trophies, and we were all like, yeah, you know what, he's one of the great. And seen because who scored goals and because attacker and he got more votes, so it is kind of sad to see that, but hopefully we can only wait and see. Maybe we can win the then confirmed, or is it after that or before that?
Oh, sorry, you're a bit choppy on my end, so I didn't quite get that.
I was just saying if Club World Cup, then we can go ahead and the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, because I think it's handed out just before then, or it might be handed out at the same time. It's more like it's November. The Ballon d'Or is November, December time, or is maybe a bit earlier. And the Club World Cup is November, December time as well. So maybe it is. But yeah, adding on to that, there's also a Champions League player of like by position. So there's a best Champions League goalkeeper, best Champions League defender, midfielder, attacker. So I think Kante and Jorginho are both in the running for best Champions League midfielder. So he can win something along those lines that's a positional award. I mean, you could say Mendy's probably. I mean, yeah, Mendy's definitely up for. We've got Chelsea players.
Mendy has to win. I mean,
Mendy has to win that. Yeah, the most clean sheets. So
it's a record. It's not even just most clean sheets. It's a record.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so
it's been around.
Do so. Yeah. I don't see us winning for attacker mainly because we didn't really score that many goals overall. But for defender, midfielder, and goalkeeper, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Mendy, Rudiger, Kante, or Mendy, Thiago Silva, or Kante, or Jorginho. So yeah, we got a chance.
I could even see Christensen win it.
Yeah,
hopefully, and he's had some good performances as well in the Champions League. We won the Champions League, so you can expect the whole squad.
Exactly.
Some sort in one of the games doing that, like kind of the Champions League final. That covers up game trophy. Tuchel's now won 2. Still running the Premier League, Champions League now. An FA Carabao Cups, win one of those. So Shield and the 6 trophies before. Who's already lost his chance this year. But Crystal Palace, big game, and I want to begin by firstly kind of talking about the action on this Chelsea team, because this was a topic that I saw. I don't know if you were watching the post game yesterday, but they actually it's on there. We're talking about this expectations now that lie on this team. Last year, realistic expectations. It was the champion. Let's try it kind of guy, kind of. Um, there's serious expectations to run in the title race. How does that? I want to kind of what your thoughts would be. How like this team and the players, and if these years are ready under pressure week in week out for the next 9 months.
I'll try and reply, and I can't. I got most of that, but yeah, it's. I think they're up for it. They've just won the Champions League, and there's a good mix of youth and senior players. Like Azpilicueta, he's won literally everything at Chelsea. If he can win the Club World Cup, he will have won every. He will be the first. I think he'll be the first Chelsea player to win absolutely everything that he's competed in. I think, or he'll be the most decorated, collection-wise. Or with the number of different trophies, he'll be the most decorated Chelsea
captain, even as a captain.
Yeah, even as a captain.
I can't.
Yeah.
So if he wins the Premier League and the Club World Cup, then he's got everything as a captain as well.
Well,
I think
Oh yeah. That's true. But even just as a normal player, he's on the Prem, so yeah. But if he can do it as a captain, that would be amazing too. That would be like, this guy's a Chelsea legend. He already is a Chelsea legend, but he's good. Yeah. He's definitely going to be up there. So, but yeah, these guys, they're at Chelsea to win. That's the pressure. That's the standard. I'm pretty sure Lampard stressed that in his time, and stressed that when he was trying to get players to join Chelsea. Sorry, I'm being a bit quiet now. But yeah, it's the standard. So I don't think there's no extra pressure. There's just the pressure of playing for Chelsea and trying to win things. So I'm not worried about extra pressure or anything, because this is what Chelsea is made for. This is what, I mean, Tuchel knows it, so I'm sure that every single player knows it. So not worried about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. I think these guys are highly professional footballers who know what their expectations are, not from just nature, but the club itself. And these guys know when to say, to step up. This is my time to step up. And they need to step up against Crystal Palace, who've had a pretty good preseason, unbeaten. But again, they played a game against Walsall a month back. Stevenage, I hope that's the right pronunciation. Ipswich, Charlton, Reading, and third of those games drew against Charlton Park, but that was about half a month as well. So 6 games, six wins or draws. Crystal Palace, I think was it that game we conceded 3 goals and we had to come back. So I hope that's not what's going to happen this time. I can't remember. It was actually Crystal Palace or Watford.
Watford, I think. No, Watford 4-0, and we haven't.
I remember there was a game where we went 3-0 down. It was one of the games where we went. You carry on with your kind of thing, and I'll just try and search it up as soon as.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I can't remember that. Well, I've erased all our games of playing against Watford. I don't think of this. Yeah, they've never been fun. Never ever been fun. So yeah, not looking forward to playing them again. But yeah, Palace. It's going to be really weird because they've got a lot of new players in a completely new defense. So yeah, we can't really go off our games last season, which went pretty well, I think, against Palace. I think we beat them away with. I remember that was when Kai Havertz played a brilliant game, and at home I can't remember what the score was, but. And Lukaku won't be registered in time either. So, yeah, with Ziyech out as well, it's probably going to be Mount Werner. Oh no, yeah, it's going to be Mount Werner Pulisic, isn't it? Which is a shame, but chance for Pulisic to prove people wrong. But yeah, it's probably going to be that. So this is going to be a difficult game. Yeah, they've still got Wilfried Zaha, but a much improved defense and a new manager. So it's really difficult to predict or even talk. We can't really go off past performances. We can't go off previous form. So I haven't really looked at Palace's friendlies. So yeah, this is going to be a real
question
not
to
sure
ask
gonna-
is the biggest question I would ask it: Mendy or
We love you, Kepa, but Mendy, I'm sure Tuchel will say the same. Mendy is the number one.
Yeah, no.
Kepa is the cup keeper.
Yeah.
Kepa is the penalty specialist. That's his new job title. He's been promoted.
Penalty list at
Yeah.
Chelsea. This is kind of going the Super Cup, but there was a bit of a TikTok. This kind of almost saved penalties. Czech was ref check underneath it, and it was just how invested looked in Kepa, and it just seemed like he's been working hard with Kepa. You know, Czech has kind of come up and helped out Kepa by training him or doing drills with him to kind of help him out and guide him. So, yeah, he's not for me as well. I know I joke about it, but cup for now, and then if he improves, then maybe he can reclaim that first spot if Mendy's form goes downhill. But I doubt that's going to happen. Mendy for me starts.
Yeah.
I would go as far as to say I would give Chalobah a start as well. He's having a great time.
Yeah.
Give him another start. Keep on giving
Absolutely.
him on the start.
Yeah, definitely. Asby's not played that much. Asby looked okay when he came, fine when he came on, but yeah, Chalobah's been playing great, so he deserves it. Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing much more to say on that one, other than the other defender. But yeah, Mendy. To be fair, all the limelights on Kepa for doing well, saving all the pens. But Mendy also played first half. He was a little bit. He had some long balls that he played straight to their attackers, but he also made up for them. I think there was one where he made a long pass, slipped, and passed it straight to Moreno, or one of their Villarreal players, and then he was forced to tip a ball onto the post. So that was a great save, and yeah, I thought he did good. He was pretty good in the Super Cup. So I don't think it's possible for Mendy's form to go downhill. To be honest, I just don't see. Yeah, unless something huge happens outside in his personal life, or just gets extremely unlucky or let down. It's just not. It's just too good.
Yeah. It's hard to find his kind of weakness. I mean, I know he messed up yesterday, but we didn't really touch on it. It was regular Mendy. He messed up. He managed to save it up, and then bothered when even Twitter went on to say, "Oh, you had a bad performance" or whatever. He to get a bit of his glove on it and saved saved after that mess up and went on with it. So for me, he starts. For me, Chalobah starts, and then the back three again. I'd go with Christian and I'd go with Rudiger and Christensen. I thought, Rudiger and Christensen pretty good with me, and then of course Reece James and Bencho will have to come back into this team.
Yeah. I'm going to go on a limb. That's one person we haven't talked about for the whole of this podcast yet. Marcos Alonso, who played a ridiculous game. He was, to be fair, you kind of didn't really see much from him at the end, but for about the first 60 minutes, he had their whole left, he was great defensively and offensively, and some of the first touches he was pulling off in their third was just ridiculous. Where's this Alonso been? So yeah, Chilwell. Chilwell's not played in any of our preseason games yet. I don't think. So
he hasn't started. I would say.
I don't think he's come on even.
I'll just have a quick look, but I think could be because most of the English players haven't had a lot of time.
Yeah, because this was Mount's first as well, I think. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't think. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, but it was Mount.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't see Chilwell starting, to be honest. I hope he does, but I think Alonso made a pretty solid case for himself against Villarreal. So if I was gonna bet, then I would go with. I think he'll pick Alonso, but then on the right, did James come on? Against Villarreal?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
If he did, then he was.
I think I have a bad feeling it's probably going to be Cho again.
No,
he doesn't really have a choice.
He didn't come
Yeah,
on.
he didn't. I don't know, a bad feeling that Cho is going to be started at right wing back because Tuchel doesn't really have a choice. James isn't fresh enough, so yeah, I think it's just going to be Cho at right wing back again, which most fans I don't think agree with, but I think it might be a force of habit right now because other than Aspi, we don't really have anyone else who can play right wing back, who other than maybe like Pulisic, who played one game against Leeds. So yeah, it's just got to be Cho for unless you play Aspi at right wing back and then Chalobah at right centre back, which sounds pretty solid to me.
Yeah. Again, I feel like it because we even though we've had a kind of preseason, it's just not been enough where it hasn't been long enough where he can kind of play every single player and see who fits where kind of situation. You've still got Jorginho, Mount, Reece James, Ben Chilwell, who were important first team members towards the end of the last season, who haven't had as, and Tuchel's going to have to take with the safe bet with who've played preseason really well, and go with that until I bring them slowly into the team, which he could also do as well. So for me, yeah, I'll still stick with Reece James and Ben Chilwell, but I think it's highly likely that Marcos Alonso and Callum Hudson-Odoi could be the two starters as well. In front of them, I have to go with Kante. He was really incredible against Villarreal, and the midfield just looked and then I will play maybe Jorginho as well, just to kind of he was better than Kovac, and he didn't even the full game. I came on towards 60 minutes, so yes, tired. I think he's ready for it. He's on an all-time high with all these trophies. So for me, those two.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, no questions there. Kovacic is fine to like come off the bench if needed, but Georgie and Kante is just our inform pair, as well as Kante being amazing right now. But to be fair, Georgie is too. So yeah, it's got to be those two right now. It's a shame because when you start thinking about it, it kind of you realize that we do kind of need another midfielder because Loftus-Cheek, he's been given his chance in pre-season but hasn't looked amazing, and we do kind of need another. Yeah, we need Tchouaméni. I really, really hope we get Tchouaméni before the window closes. It's only a couple of weeks, so before the window closes. So yeah, really hoping we can get Tchouaméni over the line. I take. For me, it's way more important than getting another centre back, but the club seem to be hugely prioritising Koundé. And I wonder what Chelsea Twitter's going to talk about for the next 18 days, though. Like, Lukaku's done. We can't just keep asking Chelsea to announce Lukaku because they announced it. What do we do now? So yeah,
we're going to be slandering the team after a good Christopher.
Yeah, won't be surprised. But yeah, that it's got to be Jorginho and Kante. But it's a little worrying that if we get an injury to one of them, we're in a very uncomfortable place because we're forced to play Kante Kovacic with nobody who's like Loftus-Cheek isn't a good enough backup yet. But
a place where we've got a lot of options in attack, or your front three.
Yeah. Well, actually, one thing before that, I realised Mason Mount could also play in one of those midfielders. So maybe all's not lost.
Up front, I would rather keep him up front. Like, if he plays there than in that.
Yeah.
He plays
same. Yeah.
Back too.
It's just as if we needed, I'd rather play Mount than
worst case scenario.
Yeah, I'd rather play Mount there than Loftus-Cheek, to be honest. So yeah, but for the front three. Yeah, it's got to be Mount, Werner, Pulisic, which is a real shame. Not that big of a shame, but it's just
before Werner comes in, scores a hat trick, and he's like, Lukaku, sit on the bench in the next game.
Yeah, Lukaku to the bench. but yeah, Dude, if one actually scores a hat trick, that would be just the worst thing. That would be hilarious. But yeah, I think it's got to be those three. We're forced to. Ziyech is injured, and Hudson-Odoi is probably a right wing back, and Lukaku is not registered yet, and Kai Havertz, unless Kai Havertz has like had the ice bath of the century in the past 48 hours, I don't see him coming back either. So,
No, I mean, even if he has, I would just because of injury. Why bring on who might feel there and do something that might end up costing him the next few weeks?
Yeah,
you've got the depth. Use the depth. So that's you on that. Werner and Pulisic have to start. I know two of them aren't really in great form, and I know Mount only had about half and extra to Villarreal, but I trust to put him and guide that attack as well. So for me, he starts as well. But yeah, anything else about Crystal Palace? Players to watch out. Wilfried Zaha as always.
Yeah. Did we mention Wilfried Zaha? Yeah, that's the only one. I guess Mark Guehi, how painful would that be if he goes and scores? How great would it be if he went and scored an own goal on his debut? That would be yeah. I can't.
He scores an own goal and he just runs to the Crystal Palace fans. He just rips that shirt and he's got Chelsea shirt underneath that.
Chelsea, Crystal Palace, golf in that order.
Or he's just wearing our third.
Yeah,
blending with Palace shirt.
Yeah, that's all I think. Like, yeah, I don't. It's just Palace is never easy, except when the last one, I guess. But it's just.
But I mean, if we look at the previous records, Palace have lost their last 4 visits to Stamford Bridge, and the average in that past 4 has been 11-2. So that's quite. But again, you never know. This is I trust Thomas and I trust Chelsea. I'm not exactly sure why that keeps muting me, but there's a reason we call it Thomas Tuchel's tricky blues. Thomas Tuchel's blues. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, before we end the podcast, just a little bit of information about the Fantasy League. I know a lot of guys were playing it last season. Quite the we didn't have quite the fan base last time, so 10, 15 players. But this time we're better than before. So the link will be in the description below. But if any of you guys want the code, it is PIBB. Alex, I can already see he's already in the to destroy me in there. But if you guys win, what we'll do is first 3 players will get prizes from the CFCTALK team. Get separate, and we'll find out there for the people who are on the outside. So if you're the winner, you'll get a 2021-2022 home kit. I know a lot of like it, but if you want, we can for the away kit as well. A shout out and a appearance. Second place will also get a shout out and a and third place only get a shout. But if we want, we can. I mean, third place is still pretty good. Depends on what the availability is like on as well. Ready for FPL, Alex?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have not prepared for this season as much as I have. Sorry, I've not prepared for a FPL season as much as I have this time round. I'm not taking prisoners. I'm sorry, Mohammed. So, yeah. But it's more just I want to do well in general this time. I've got time to properly research the team this time around. The benefits of being a graduate, you just don't. Or yeah. That's my main focus, not trying to get a job yet. No, I take that back. That's yes.
See Alex's Twitter bio change to FPL expert after he wins.
You'll see.
But no, that's the best way to kind of support your team. Alex is wearing one of the jerseys from the 2015-16 Hazard.
17-18.
17. On the back, you can get your customized jersey from kitbag.com. The link will be in the description. It'll be on our bios as well on of our media pages. If you're this on a Friday, Saturday, so that would be the Friday the 13th, Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th. You can code BAG20 for 25% and worldwide shipping available. So imagine shirt, 20% off. Taco on the back with, I'm guessing, number 19, which you'll get. You can get that as well. Use a below, or you can shop the store, use BAG25 and get 25% off on of your own, actually. So it's not just one shirt, on all of the as well. Along with that, you can follow all of our social medias to find us and the like. News about the Chelsea kit is coming out soon. We'll watch out for that. We're going to see it before you guys. We'll tell you about it, and maybe we'll have it in hand as well. So for watching this, thank you guys for all the support on the previous episodes, as well as on all of our social media pages. The Instagram is absolutely blowing up. We got about 2,000 likes on one of our other posts the other day, and the Twitter as well yesterday went massive. I had to literally turn off all of my notifications last night before going to bed because Matthew posted a funny video in it, and a lot of it, and also it's incredible to know us and show us your love as well. So make sure to leave a like rating. Let's try and hit 10 likes this episode on YouTube, because I know there's not a lot of people that watch the full episode, but we're trying to get editors who can edit clips for us and upload those separately as well. So we'll see you next time. Thank you, Alex, and hopefully after an incredible win against Crystal Palace, we'll be sat here discussing Crystal Palace and then Arsenal and very soon. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
That was great.
I want to put this out there before I end this video. Alex behind the scene. One day we need to see Alex do that. But yeah, we'll see you next time.